Hello everyone, welcome to New Wealth Japan. I'm thrilled to have you here today. This channel is dedicated to helping travelers from around the world discover and experience the very best of Japan. From ancient temples and historic castles that have stood for centuries, to the vibrant world of anime, unique Japanese souvenirs, and incredible cuisine that will tantalize your taste buds, we cover it all. Japan is a country where tradition meets innovation, where you can enjoy a traditional tea ceremony in the morning and explore cutting-edge technology districts in the afternoon. It's this beautiful contrast that makes Japan so fascinating. We're passionate about sharing hidden gems, travel tips, and cultural insights that will make your Japanese adventure unforgettable. Whether you're planning your first trip or you're a seasoned Japan traveler, we've got something special for you. I'm truly grateful that so many people from all corners of the world share this passion for Japanese culture with us. Your enthusiasm and curiosity inspire every video we create. So sit back, relax, and let's explore Japan together. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome! Have you ever thought about visiting a sacred mountain town, one that's literally shrouded in clouds and over 1,000 years of history? Well, today that's exactly where we're going. We're going to create a practical guide to Mount Koya, the spiritual heart of Japan, by answering the top 10 questions every traveler asks. You see, Koyasan isn't just some spot on a map. It's a whole experience. People always say it's a place where a truly spiritual world is just waiting for you. The feeling there is unlike anywhere else on Earth. It's serene, it's deep, and, it gets especially magical after the sun goes down. So, are you thinking about planning that trip? Awesome. Think of this as your personal roadmap. We're going to cut through all the noise and give you clear, direct answers to the most common questions. By the time we're done, you'll be all set to navigate this sacred mountain like you've been there a dozen times. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with what makes this place so special. Then we'll dive into all the practical stuff, how to get there, what it's really like to stay in a temple, and the etiquette you gotta know. We'll also check out the sights, both day and night, and we'll wrap up with some ideas for unique souvenirs to bring home. Okay, first up, a sacred introduction. Before we get into all the how-tos, let's talk about the what. What exactly is Koyasan? Let's get our bearings before we start heading up the mountain. So here's the most important thing to get about Koyasan. It's not just some pretty mountain town. This is the world headquarters of Shingon Buddhism, and it was founded way back in 816 AD by a monk named Kukai. And just to give you a sense of its importance, in 2004 it was officially named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Section 2, Getting There and Around. Now that we've got the backstory, let's get practical. This section is all about logistics, how you're going to get up that mountain and find your way around once you're there. So, first big question, how do I get there from Osaka? Well, it's this really beautiful 4-step journey that takes about 90 to 100 minutes. From Osaka, you'll grab the Nankai Koya line train to the very last stop, Goku Rakabashi. From there, you switch to this really cool steep cable car that just pulls you right up the mountainside. And finally, you hop on a bus that takes you into the main town. And that brings us to our second question, and listen up, because this one is super important. Can you just walk into town from the cable car station? The answer is a hard no. For safety reasons, that road is completely closed to pedestrians. You absolutely have to take a bus or a taxi for that last little bit of the journey. Now let's talk about saving some money. Is there some kind of special ticket? Yes, and honestly, it's a total game changer. It's called the Koyasan World Heritage Ticket, and for most people, it is 100% worth it. For just over 3,000 yen, you get your round-trip train and cable car, unlimited bus rides for 2 days, and discounts at major temples. I mean, buying a regular round-trip train ticket by itself would cost you more. It's a total no-brainer. Now, before we even talk about what to wear, let's talk climate. Koyasan is about 800 meters up, which means it's always way colder than the cities down below. We're talking a difference of 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. In the winter, that means it can easily drop well below freezing, sometimes hitting temps like this. So yeah, that leads us right to the big question. What on earth do you pack? The #1 rule for Koyasan, no matter the season, is layers. Even in the summer, the mornings and evenings get chilly. Comfortable walking shoes are an absolute must. And, well, it's a mountain, so the weather can turn on a dime. Rain gear is always a smart move. And if you're going anytime from autumn to spring, a warm coat is non-negotiable. Section 3, the Temple Stay Experience. All right, you've made it. You're dressed for the weather. Now we get to the part that makes a trip to Koyasan truly unforgettable. Actually immersing yourself in tradition with the temple stay. So question 4, what is a shukubo? Well, a shukubo is basically temple lodging. Originally, it was for monks and pilgrims, but now a lot of Koyasan's temples, about 50 of them actually, welcome tourists. Just remember, it's not a hotel. It's a chance to actually stay on the temple grounds and get a real glimpse into the monastic lifestyle. So what does that monastic lifestyle actually look like for you? Well, you can wake up super early for the morning prayer service, which is an incredible experience. A lot of temples also offer activities like shakyo, which is this meditative practice of copying Buddhist sutras, or you can try guided meditation. And of course, you can just relax and enjoy the temple's absolutely stunning traditional gardens. A huge, huge part of any temple stay is the food, which brings us to our next question. What is shojin ryori? This is the traditional Buddhist cuisine they serve. It's completely vegan, based on the principle of not taking a life. The monks use seasonal vegetables, beans, and grains to create these meals that are not only healthy and delicious, but also just beautifully presented. Oh, and you have got to try the local gomodofu, or sesame tofu. Okay, moving on to section 4, sacred sites etiquette. And this is a really important one. Koyasan is an active, living religious center, a deeply sacred place. So understanding and respecting the local customs is really key to having a meaningful trip. This leads us to a really big rule, and it's about photography. You can't just take pictures everywhere. The rules are actually pretty strict, and it's all to maintain the solemn, sacred atmosphere of the temples and the other holy sites. So, where exactly is photography a no-go? Well, the absolute most sacred area is Okuno-in, and taking pictures is strictly forbidden once you cross the Gobyo Bridge. You'll also find that the interiors of most temple halls, like the Kondo Hall and that iconic Kompon Daito Pagoda, are off-limits for cameras. Really, the best rule of thumb is to just always look for signs, and if you're ever in doubt, just put the camera away. Okay, section 5, exploring day and night. Now that we know the rules, let's talk about what you can actually see and do. Because Koyasan offers these wildly different experiences depending on whether the sun is up or down. Question 8 brings up a fascinating piece of history. What is the Nyonin Michi? Okay, so get this. Until the late 1800s, women weren't allowed into the central sacred areas of Koyasan. So the Nyonin Michi, or the women's pilgrimage route, was the path they walked around the edge of the mountain to worship from a distance. Today, it's a beautiful hiking trail where you get great views and a real, tangible connection to that history. Now for question 9, what's the deal with Okuno-in, that massive ancient cemetery? Should you go during the day or at night? The answer is both. You have to do both. During the day, you really feel the scale of history, walking among these ancient tombs and huge cedar trees. But at night, the whole place transforms. The paths are lit by stone lanterns, and it has this deeply mystical atmosphere. There are even guided night tours where you'll hear all these wild stories, some spooky, some kind of silly, that you would totally miss on your own. Section 6, memories and mementos. So as your trip starts to wrap up, you're probably going to want to take a little piece of this amazing place home with you. Let's talk about the best souvenirs. And for our final question, what are the must-have souvenirs? Forget the generic touristy stuff. Here you can find things that are really connected to the local culture. You can actually buy the famous gomodofu to take home. For sweets, keep an eye out for yakimochi. They're grilled rice cakes with bean paste, or something called sasamaki anpu. And of course, at a lot of the temples, you can find juzu prayer beads and some really high-quality incense. And that brings our practical guide to a close. As you can tell, a trip to Koyasan is about so much more than just logistics. It's a chance to step away from all the noise of our everyday lives. And it kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. In a world that just rushes and rushes, what can a journey to a place of eternal meditation really teach us? Well, that's something to think about on your own journey. Thanks for watching. All right, let's just forget the packed cities and buzzing streets for a minute. Today, we're going up, way up, to a sanctuary in the sky. It's a mountain retreat with over 1,200 years of deep spiritual history. We're heading to Koyasan, and trust me, this is going to be something special. You know, this quote really nails it. A trip to Koyasan isn't about just, checking boxes off a tourist list. It's about actually stepping into a living, breathing spiritual world. It's an experience that really sticks with you. So, where exactly are we? Picture this. We're about 800 meters high up in the mountains of Wakayama. This whole sacred complex was set up way back in the year 816, nestled in this incredible basin that people thought looked just like a secret lotus flower opening up to the sky. And the person behind it all? A visionary monk named Kobo Daishi, also known as Kukai. He was a pretty big deal. After studying in China, he brought back Shingon Buddhism and decided this quiet, remote mountain was the perfect spot to set up a training ground for its teachings. But here's the part that really makes this place feel so alive. The belief here is that Kobo Daishi never actually died. Instead, he just entered a state of eternal meditation inside his mausoleum, right here on the mountain. And they say he's still there, praying for all of us. This is what makes Koyasan such a powerful, living place of pilgrimage. So with that in mind, let's dive into the 3 main sites that really form the spiritual heart of the mountain. If you go to Koyasan, these are the absolute must-sees. First up, we have Okuno-in. Now, this is considered the most sacred place in all of Koyasan, mainly because it's where you'll find Kobo Daishi's mausoleum. And get this, it's also Japan's largest cemetery. The path leading to the mausoleum is lined with over 200,000 tombs and memorials. I mean, just let that sink in. A lot of them belong to some of the most famous feudal lords and historical figures in all of Japanese history. The scale of it is just mind-blowing. Walking this 2-kilometer path feels like you've literally stepped into another time. You're completely surrounded by these gigantic, ancient cedar trees, many over 1,000 years old, with moss-covered stones everywhere. It's this incredibly mystical, humbling walk that leads you right to where the founder of this whole place rests. Okay, our next sacred spot is Danjo Garan. This is ground zero. When Kobo Daishi first established Koyasan, this was the very first complex he built. He actually designed it to be a physical representation, like a 3D mandala, of the entire Buddhist cosmos. And right at the center of that cosmos is this stunner, the Kompon Daito Pagoda. It stands at a massive 49 meters tall, and its bright vermilion color is just incredible against the forest. It symbolizes the absolute center of this spiritual universe Kobo Daishi created. And our third sacred heart is Kongobuji Temple. So if Danjo Garan is the spiritual birthplace, you can think of Kongobuji as the administrative headquarters. It's the head temple for all 117 temples on Koyasan and for the entire Shingon sect of Buddhism. Inside, there are so many treasures, but the real showstopper has to be Banrute. This isn't just any rock garden. It is the largest in all of Japan. It's a masterpiece of granite and white sand, designed to look like a pair of powerful dragons protecting the temple from inside a sea of clouds. It's amazing. But Koyasan is about so much more than just seeing the sights. It's a place you have to experience. So let's shift gears a bit from sightseeing to something way more immersive, staying overnight in a real working temple. So what exactly is a shukubo? Well, it's basically a temple lodging. Originally, they were for pilgrims, but now they're open to everyone. It gives you this totally unique chance to see what monastic life is like and just soak in that serene, spiritual vibe after all the day trippers have gone home. The experience really boils down to 3 things. First, you get to stay in one of over 50 active temples. Second, you get to eat shojin ryori, which is this incredibly intricate and delicious style of Buddhist vegetarian food. And third, you can actually join the monks for their morning prayers and meditation. It's an unforgettable way to connect with the mountain's spirit. Okay, so you're inspired, you want to go, but how in the world do you get to this remote mountain sanctuary? Let's break down the travel logistics. Honestly, the journey is part of the adventure. From Osaka, you'll take a train all the way to the base of the mountain. From there, you hop on this really cool, super steep cable car for a 5-minute ride to the top. And here's a crucial tip. Once you're at the top station, you have to take a bus or a taxi into town. Walking from the station is actually prohibited. Now, let me give you a pro tip that's going to save you both time and money. Nankai Railway offers this special pass called the Koyasan World Heritage Ticket. It is designed specifically for visitors like us, and it is, by far, the easiest and cheapest way to do this trip. I mean, just look at this. Buying all your tickets one by one would cost a whole lot more. This World Heritage Ticket bundles everything together for just 3,140 yen. That gets you your round-trip train and cable car from Osaka, plus unlimited bus rides on the mountain for 2 whole days. It is an absolute no-brainer. And finally, before you go, here are a few essential tips to make sure your visit is as smooth and respectful as possible. Think of it as a kind of modern-day pilgrim's code. First off, just remember, this is a very active religious place, so it's important to be quiet and respectful. Also, photography is a big no-no once you cross the Gobyo Bridge in Okuno-in. And of course, to keep the mountain beautiful, please pack out any trash you have. Here's a really practical one for you. Bring cash. Yeah, a lot of the bigger temples and transport will take credit cards, but many of the smaller shops, restaurants, and other little places on the mountain might be cash only. So it's always smart to have some yen on you. Oh, and don't forget, you're up in the mountains. At 800 meters, Koyasan is always about 5 to 10 degrees Celsius cooler than the cities below. Even in the summer, it can get pretty chilly in the mornings and evenings, so packing layers is definitely the way to go. You know, whether it's walking that path among ancient souls or waking up to the sound of temple chants, Koyasan offers a journey that's completely unique. It's so much more than just a place on a map. So, the real question is, if you were to make this journey on this sacred mountain, what do you think you would find?
And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed exploring this part of Japan with us. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more travelers like you who love Japan. And here's the most important part. If you haven't already, please subscribe to New Wealth Japan and hit that notification bell. By turning on notifications, you'll be the first to know whenever we upload a new video. We post new content regularly, featuring different destinations, food experiences, and cultural insights across Japan, so you won't want to miss out. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Do you have any questions about what we covered today? Is there a specific place in Japan you'd like us to feature in an upcoming video? Maybe a particular Japanese dish you're curious about, or a cultural tradition you want to learn more about? Please share your thoughts, questions, and suggestions in the comments below. We read every single comment, and your feedback helps shape our future content. Also, if you've been to Japan before, we'd love to hear about your experiences. Share your favorite memories or travel tips with our community. Let's learn from each other. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of our New Wealth Japan family. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video. Sayonara.